Did you ever consider having a roommate?
Yes, when I had one of my first pay cuts, I moved into the little bedroom, and I put my master bedroom up for rent, and I advertised it on Craigslist. And, probably about 8 or 9 different people, came. Some people came as couples, and the person that looked the most, to be the best renter was a commercial pilot. He did charters out of the local airport, and I verified his employment with the company down there.
You just called them to see if he worked there?
And I verified his income, and they said he was a great guy and everything. And I didn't really know anybody that knew him. I didn't.
Did you check his previous landlords or a place where he paid a mortgage?
His previous landlord, he was just coming out of a divorce, and he had been renting a 5-bedroom home with his wife and daughter, and they said he was great, always paid, and he seemed like a good professional guy. He came in his pilot suit with the little things on the sleeves and stuff. And so about a month after he moved in, he lost his job, and he became really like a hermit in there. He got all dirty and stinky, wasn't shaving. He would just sit in there and play video games, and became real reclusive and kind of adversarial. And then as time went by, he was collecting unemployment. He was being able to pick up some flights here and there, find some charters for other companies and stuff, in order to, make the ends meet, and he was able to pay his rent, usually on time, sometimes a little late. Then after about a year, he paid his rent 3 months in a row, real late. And the 3rd month, he and his girlfriend took off on a trip and didn't pay before they left. And then when they came back, it was already pretty late. I got the check, and then I deposited, paid all my bills with it, and then at about the 25th of the month, I get a notice from the bank that the check was no good, had bounced, and so I had all these bounce check charges and overdraft fees. So I told him that this time he needed to pay for those, and he needed to give me the late, the rent late that was written in our agreement. And he really went off on me. He became really adversarial, and I guess that he went in the yard that night and put dog dew on the barbecue along the gas jets. My son and his friend came home, and they both they cooked dinner out there. They made steaks for themselves, and when I got home, my son said it looked like the charcoals looked funny on the grill, and if I'd go check them, and I went and checked, and it was dog dew. And so
wow, that's
there's
awful.
my children eating off of eating dog dew.
And this is a guy that looked clean and was a pilot.
And so I went through the eviction process with him.
Not fun, huh?
No, it was frightening because since he had been there just over a year, I legally had to give him a 60-day notice, and it was absolutely frightening, wondering what else he was doing to our food, and it was like almost impossible for me to want to eat anything that was open in the house. I wouldn't, I was buying food out, and it was not knowing, if he would leave when the time was up, and that it could go 6 months trying to get him out of here. I ended up losing 20 pounds, and I got real sick. I ended up having to go out on stress a few months later because I got so sick from just all the worry, and worried if he was going to do something to my dogs while we were gone. And
so after having that awful experience, it's really unpleasant and awful. I'm sorry to hear it. Would you want to hire somebody to represent you so that they could expedite moving him out in the future?
Yes, I would.
Now, what do you look for in a property management company that would have maybe helped you expedite?
Because I won't rent it again on my own.
Yeah.
I have not I've never run an ad since then. I would only consider renting the room, which I need to. I've had another huge pay cut.
Yeah.
But it would need to be someone that knows all the legal stuff, because I don't know all of my legal rights and all of the
You probably
tenants'
don't
legal
want to deal
rights.
with that anymore, correct?
No.
Yeah. In the future, you want to have somebody handle that for you.
Somebody that knows what they're doing, because the only way I've gotten out of some of these kind of things is because my former next door neighbor did have rentals and knew how to do evictions and knew the legalities. But I don't have access to that information anymore.
So if I were a property management company that could supply you with all that stuff, would you consider renting a room again if I told you that I could handle situations like that in a fast manner?
Yes, and also that I felt like I didn't do a very good job maybe screening this person.
In what, in the background, the credit, or his work and past rental history?
Probably would have checked out fine, but maybe character-wise or something, you know.
Can't judge a book by its cover. I
don't
think
know.
that's it.
I guess I'm a little bit worried about who I chose to live in my own home, because living with somebody in your own home is different than having them away from you. You know, this person's going to have access to my rooms, my files, my computer. You know, they're in my home. They have access to my food, and so that's a little bit more frightening.
It's a big challenge.
Yeah.
Well, would you consider letting French Valley Properties rent your room or home for you?
Yes, I've been thinking about that.
Okay.
Yes, seems like you've got a pretty good track record.
Okay. Thanks, I appreciate that.